I would have gone over that. No, thank you to everybody for coming. My name's Jack Barton. I'm Communications Manager at Mustard Tree. Our mission is to combat poverty and prevent homelessness. So a lot of our approach is working with people who are in danger of becoming homeless through arrears, debt, other circumstances, redundancy, you name it, we see it every single day. There's obviously a lot of intelligence in the room, so I'm not going to patronise your boy with poverty stats. I'm sure you'll know how bad it is at the moment. I'm just preaching to the choir. What I will say is we were working with a chap last week who had been spending his state pension on paying his rent. Unknown to him that he was entitled to local housing allowance, and because he was doing that, he was having to use our food club. We have food clubs across our 3 hubs. It's not a food bank, it's a little bit more dignified, shall we say, so people pay a small contribution to use it. It's more like a community grocer, which you're probably seeing pop up more and more across Greater Manchester. But it's just that knowledge and the fact that person was probably doing that for a few months before it was flagged up by his social worker, made us think a lot more analytically about how we combat poverty. And our main focus for 2023 now is maximising people's income by any means possible. That could be helping somebody get into work or get into real living wage work, with good hours and secured hours. For those on disability who are unable to work, it could be through other avenues, usually by maximising that person's income. There's something like £26 million of unclaimed benefits in Greater Manchester alone. This is money that people are entitled to. You just don't know that they've got access to it. I see a lot of nodding heads. You probably know about this already, but it's something that I've only learned in the last 6 months or so. I'm learning continuously. Gilbert, those examples that we see that Scott mentioned in his work is just all too familiar. Our place, we never closed during COVID. We used our furniture collection vans to distribute food all across Greater Manchester. And to a lot of people who were having to isolate, which was well into 18 months into that COVID crisis situation, the interaction with our drivers was the only interaction they were getting on a weekly basis. And that's, it's traumatising for some of our support workers, and it's all hidden. This is the crucial thing about this. There's lack of communication there. Before I started Mustard about 5 years ago as a paid employee. I volunteered my time 2 years before that. I was helping in the job club, and that was helping people write CVs, cover letters, applying for jobs online. One of our regulars, Leslie, would just come. He was on disability, and I think I spent an hour of the 2-hour session just getting him logged into his universal credit account. He always used to forget his password, and he was never going to work. Leslie, he was just in that situation, but that was all right with me because he would come in for the social interaction. He would come in because he got his lunch on us if he was engaged and he was coming out there. And at the time, that meant more to us than anything else, and he seemed happy and content. But that pressure that he had on the job centre, I think Linda picked it up in your work, that downward spiral can be catastrophic for people if it all goes wrong. And there's so many ways people can fall down now, and that's quite worrying to us. So all we can do is fight people's battles for them. I think someone from VCO said recently, it's not about making things better at the moment, it's just about managing how bad it can get. And we've got to look at that first. We got through Christmas, we're still in a tough winter period, but we've got to have that hope as well. And hope for us at the moment is celebrating every success. So every time we get somebody's benefits sorted for them, every time we stop an eviction from a rogue landlord, every time we get somebody into a real living wage job. I came straight here from the Clayton hotel today, so I took somebody over for induction, and he'll be starting in the kitchen there next month. That's a success for us. That's one less person having to use our food club. But we need bigger scale, and we need more volume, and we need more urgency around that. I picked it up in those media clippings. It's that sense of urgency we need right now more than anything else. I've always had an affinity with spoken word. When I first started, I was in a fundraising role, and my boss said, you need to go and see Rob Stevenson. Rob Stevenson runs Punk in Drublic.
Yeah.
And we know Rob.
I know Rob.
Fantastic. And, you know, he raises a few quid for us each session. But I worked out a couple of months ago, over that period he's supported us since I've been there, he's raised over £10,000 for us. And that, as a collective, I think Rob deserves a round. I guess what I'm trying to say is that collectivism now. You know, you're supporting us tonight through purchasing Amanda's book, and just want to give a big round of applause to Amanda's book. By book, you're supporting Mustry as well, but with every church group, community group, spoken word night, corporate, trust, grant, you know, we're trying to raise £2.6 million this calendar year to help more people in more meaningful ways, because we are growing. We don't have a growth strategy. We are growing organically because the need is that surmountable now. When I first started, it was about £800,000 a year, but we're getting a lot of backing because the council know that we can get the unemployment figure down, and we are doing things in the right way in terms of focusing on homelessness prevention. And that's the big takeaway message for me, and that everybody I'm speaking to at the moment is we've got to focus on the prevention side. It's a lot easier to help somebody in that circumstance. So thanks so much for coming out. It's good to be surrounded by a bunch of like-minded people, and all I can say at the moment is keep up the good fight, and thank you so much for your time tonight.
Woo!
Thank you guys.